All right, let's talk about one of the biggest frustrations in golf, consistency, or the lack of it. We're going to unlock the secret to finding it, and here's a hint. It has nothing to do with the top of your swing or impact. It all happens in the very first second. So let's break down how that tiny first move dictates literally everything that comes after.
So, does this ring a bell? You stripe one right down the fairway, feeling like a pro, and the very next shot goes who knows where. It's enough to drive you crazy, right? But what if the reason for that wild inconsistency is hiding in a place you're not even looking?
Yep, you heard that right. The first 1.5 feet of your swing. That tiny little movement is where the die is cast. If you get this part right, the rest of the swing has a fighting chance to fall into place. But if you get it wrong, well, you're just spending the next 1.5 seconds trying to fix a mistake you've already made.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to pull back the curtain on that first second secret. Then we'll talk about the chain reaction of the swing. After that, we'll build the perfect takeaway from the ground up, look at the mistakes almost everyone makes, and then, the best part, give you some simple drills to make it all stick.
Okay, let's get into it. The first second secret. It's so easy to obsess over what the club is doing at the top or when it hits the ball. But the real magic, and honestly the real problems, all start right here. So why does this tiny motion have such a gigantic impact on everything else? Let's find out. I want you to think of your golf swing like a line of dominoes. Your takeaway is that very first domino. If you tip it over perfectly straight, what happens? All the other dominoes, the backswing, the transition, the downswing, they all fall exactly as they should, in a perfect, powerful sequence. But if you nudge that first one just a little bit offline, the whole chain goes haywire. And this right here, this is the payoff. When you nail that first move, you're not just fixing one small thing. Suddenly the club is on plane, which means fewer slices. Your tempo and rhythm feel smooth, not rushed. You're rotating your body to create power, not just lifting with your arms. It's a cascade of good things that all lead to that one thing we all want: consistent, solid contact. Okay, so we've covered the why it's so important. Now for the really fun part, the what. What does a perfect start actually look like? What should it feel like? Let's build the blueprint together, step by step.
Here it is, the 6 ingredients in the recipe for a perfect takeaway. It kicks off with a tiny pressure shift. Then, your chest starts the rotation and your arms just go along for the ride. We've got a key checkpoint where the club head stays outside your hands. The wrists do almost nothing, and the whole thing moves low and slow. Let's break each of those down. Before your hands or the club even think about moving, the best players in the world shift just a tiny bit of pressure into their trail foot. We're talking 3 to 5%. It is so subtle. It's not a sway or a lunge. It's just a little loading action that acts as the trigger for the entire sequence. This move alone stops you from just snatching the club back with your hands.
I love this quote because it nails the feeling perfectly. The #1 mistake amateurs make is using their hands to pick the club up and start the swing. Instead, you need to feel like your chest, your upper body, is what rotates first, and that rotation pulls the arms, hands, and club back all together.
And here's a Tour Pro checkpoint you can use right now. When the club gets about 1.5 feet back, just stop and look. The club head should still be outside your hands. If it's already vanished behind your body, that's the telltale sign that your hands got too active, too early, and you've already pulled the club inside and off plane.
You put all this together, and what do you get? You get what's called the one-piece takeaway. If you remember nothing else, remember this phrase. It means the triangle that your arms and shoulders create at address moves back as one single connected unit. The chest turns, and everything else follows. Simple as that.
Okay, now that we know what the goal is, let's flip it around and look at what not to do. Honestly, sometimes the quickest path to getting better is just spotting what you're doing wrong. So let's see if any of these feel a little too familiar.
Man, when you see it side by side, the difference is just night and day, isn't it? The elite player rotates their chest first. The amateur snatches the club inside with their hands. The pro's arms are connected to their body. The amateur's arms disconnect and start lifting. The pro keeps their wrists quiet. The amateur hinges them immediately. So, be honest with yourself. Which column does your first move fall into?
And now, my favorite part. We are done with the theory. It's time for action. Because knowing this stuff is one thing, but actually building the feel in your own swing is what's going to drop your scores. Here are 3 super simple drills that will help you bake in a perfect takeaway.
Okay, drill number 1 is all about feeling the engine of the swing. Forget the club for a second. Cross your arms over your chest, get into your golf posture, and just practice rotating your torso back and through. Feel how your chest and shoulders are leading the whole movement. Do that a few times, really ingrain that feeling, and then pick up a club and try to replicate it.
All right, next up is an oldie but a goodie. You see pros doing this all the time for a reason. Just tuck a small towel under both of your armpits. Now, your only job is to make some slow half swings without letting that towel fall to the ground. This is the absolute best drill for feeling that connection between your arms and your body.
So how'd you do? Did the towel drop? If it did, hey, don't sweat it. That's just instant, perfect feedback. It's telling you the exact moment that your arms decided to go off on their own, instead of staying connected to your body's rotation. It's an unmistakable sign that your hands took over when your chest should have been in charge.
And last but not least, let's turn that pro checkpoint into a habit. All you have to do is set up like normal, and then really slowly swing the club back to about waist high, and then just stop. Look down. Is the club head outside of your hands? Doing this over and over gives you that visual proof that you're starting the swing on the right track. So, as we wrap this up, let's just do a quick lightning round of the villains of the takeaway. Remember, don't rush it, don't snatch the club inside, don't hinge your wrists right away, don't start with your hips, and for the love of golf, remember to rotate, don't just lift. In the end, this is why we've spent all this time on such a small, tiny part of the swing. A good start isn't just about looking correct, it's what creates the foundation for everything else, for good tempo, for keeping the club on plane, and for building a powerful, balanced swing. It's truly the key to unlocking the consistency that you've been searching for. So I'll leave you with this one question to think about next time you're at the range. Is your first move, that first 18 inches, setting you up for success, or is it unknowingly sabotaging your swing before it even gets started? Figuring that out might just change everything.